Welcome to Magic Hour. I'm your host, Paul Chapo, and we finally did it, folks. We finally got Mulan. And I feel like this review is going to ramble a little bit because there's a lot going on here. There's my expectations set up by the original movie from 1998, the animation. And then there's my expectations for this one because I went in knowing this movie was going to be more realistic. In fact, the director said that many times. So, yeah, it was more realistic. Here's the problem. Let me just go ahead and tell you one of the problems right away. He said the director's name is Nicky Caro, and he did a few movies before this one, but you probably never heard of him. He did The Whale Rider, The Zookeeper's Wife. So, yeah, I haven't heard of him. Probably. I bet my wife has. So he said it was going to be more realistic, and it was, except right out the back, he has magic in the film. He had a character, and guys, I'm not even going to try to pronounce some of these Chinese names. There's only a few names that I could pronounce. Donnie Yen was in the movie. He was last seen in Rogue One, the movie. Last time I saw him, at least. Jet Li was playing the Emperor in the movie. Jason Scott Lee, the guy that played in the Bruce Lee story, was playing the bad guy, Bori Khan. And that's about it for the names I can pronounce. So this nice young woman playing Mulan, I'm just going to call her Mulan because I cannot even begin to try to pronounce her name. But anyway, let me get to the point I was making. Before, the director said we were going to get a lot of realism in this film, or he was trying to make the film realistic. And then from the very beginning, he throws in a witch. A witch is assisting Bori Khan, the villain in the film, and she has various powers. She can make herself look like anybody, and in fact, I think she can inhabit the body of somebody she's trying to imitate. So there's that. She can change herself into a bird. She does all these crazy things. And I'm like, this is the realism you're talking about? If you're going to do all of this, you might as well brought back Eddie Murphy. Because believe me, when I say this movie needed a little bit of humor, they did keep Cricket, the comic relief that they had in the animation. So yeah, that was okay. But overall, none of the elements that you expect from a Disney movie, the songs, the dancing and all that stuff were in this movie. And like I said, it had no sense of humor. They did keep the tea ceremony, I have to say, but it went by really, really fast and it didn't have the same hilarity that the animation had, because you remember that scene, it went on and on and on and on and on with the humor, and it was pretty good. So don't expect that going into this movie. They took away Mulan's love interest, Captain Li Shang, and they did kind of replace him with another guy, a fellow soldier, and I can't say his name either, but you'll know who he is in the movie. He's kind of good looking guy. They dropped Li Shang because of the Me Too movement. They didn't want her having a romantic interest in one of her captains. And I think they made the right decision there. So the other changes, there was none of the original songs, but they do play the instrumental of some of the songs. You hear them, you'll notice what they are. But I don't think I ever heard a refrain from "Be a Man, Be a Man." So don't go in expecting that sort of nod to the older movie. And of course, there's no Dragon Mushu, like I've already stated. Instead, Mulan's family's ancestors are represented by the phoenix. That theme plays out throughout the movie. Mulan rising from the ashes to become a woman. There's so much imagery related to her becoming a woman, which strangely coincides with her violence in a lot of instances. So, yeah, you can see my consternation at trying to review this movie. Was there anything I liked about it? Well, yeah, I liked the action. The action was kind of ramped up, but you have to remember it's a Disney film, first of all, and it's a PG-13 film, so The action went further than the animation, but only to a point. And I have to say, I was very disappointed in the final battle that Mulan has with the bad guy, the main villain with Bori Khan. I thought they could have ramped up the violence a little bit more. I would have liked to see her go mano a mano with the guy, but there was a lot of imagery and symbolism stuff about her fight instead of some actual fighting. You know, it would have been just nice to see them knocking down stuff and just going at it. But we never really got that. But there was some action. But I just thought the animated version played out a lot better as far as that final confrontation. And I felt like Bori Khan in the animation was a lot more menacing and scary. First of all, he was a Hun in the animation. In this movie, they changed his tribe or his nationality to Auroran. And I thought, did they make that up? But I looked it up. It was actually a tribal Chinese clan that did cause some trouble in China in like the 4th century. And Mulan's father, strangely enough, was played by the father in Rush Hour. And I kind of like that because that guy, if you've seen him, is very sympathetic. He does very, very well as playing that father figure. But at the same time, I kept expecting Chris Tucker or Jackie Chan just to appear at any moment because I'm just so used to that guy from the Rush Hour series. But that was one of the highlights, seeing him as Mulan's father. When you see him crippled and everything, when the soldiers come to... If you don't know the plot, the Huns, or in this case the Rorans, are invading China, threatening the Silk Road in this version. And as a result, the emperor calls forth an army from all the villages all over China. He asks for a son from each family. And Mulan's father only has 2 daughters. So he presents himself to the imperial army and says he will fight again, even though he got wounded in the last war and he can barely walk. So Mulan takes his armor, his sword, and she goes to the army and presents herself as a boy. And she trains with the men, and she has to hide herself. For anybody out there who has not seen that original movie, and I'm sure there are some people, but why would you be watching this review? You're probably not interested in these kind of movies anyway. But anyway, I'm just going to assume that there may be 1 or 2 people who haven't seen the animated version. But yeah, that's the basic plot. Mulan has to deal with the problem of concealing herself and at the same time being true to herself as a woman. And they play up that more in this version. They played up the family angle a lot more in this version. And I think they did that because they want this to appeal to the Chinese market. They're looking not to get banned by the China government because there's some subversive elements in this film that could have gone badly in China. And they gloss over it by making sure that at every corner, every turn, they talk about family and being true to yourself and all these other, and devotion and, dishonor and all these things that would probably resonate in a Chinese theater. Because I don't think this is going to resonate so well in America because, look, you have a daughter who goes off to fight for her father. I can't even get my daughter to clean up her room. So obviously, we have a different culture here in America. I can't see anybody in my family going to war for me. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get too deep down that rabbit hole. But yeah, that's about it. I can't say much more about it. That's basically the differences between both versions. This version I didn't enjoy as much as the original version, but I couldn't go in it without comparing it to that original version. How will it play to people who don't know anything about Mulan, who haven't seen the original movie? That's hard to say. I can't really say. So I'm not here. If you're here to get a review with fresh eyes, I can't give you that because I have to compare it to what I already know. And compared to what I already know, it did some things a little better, and that basically has to do with the action and some of the family motifs, I would say. Like I said, it will play good in China, but overall, I would probably give it a 3. Maybe no more than 2.5 out of 5. In some ways, I was disappointed, and I felt like, you know, you in for a penny, you're in for a pound, so you might as well just go for it. You know, like I said, if the director wanted to include magic, he might as well have included Eddie Murphy as well. But that's just me. I like to thank all my subscribers and encourage you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, ring the bell so you know when my next video drops. Give me a comment, give me a like, give me a dislike, and I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.